Shalom, I'm Bernadine. Welcome to Sharing His Light. Welcome back to old and new subscribers, and I ask those of you who have not yet subscribed to subscribe. And to all of you, I ask that you turn on your notification button for more videos. So today, the topic that I will be discussing will be related to two revelations that I have had from Yahuah in February. The first revelation was on the 2nd of February 2023, and the second was on the 8th of February 2023. Now, on the morning of the 2nd of February 2023, as soon as I awoke, I heard these words: thousands will be murdered. Say that again: thousands will be murdered. And on the 8th of February 2023, I believe that the Most High wanted to reinforce what he had told me on the 2nd of February. So on that morning, I awoke about 4:37 a.m. to do my morning worship, and I began to exalt the Most High, and I began to ask for forgiveness of my sins. And as soon as I closed my eyes, I beheld a pale horse with a rider thereon galloping towards me. The rider was wearing dark clothing, and both him and the horse were of the same color clothing. His clothing was as the same color of the horse. I could not see his face, so I cannot give you a description. And as soon as I saw this, I asked the Most High, I questioned him, I asked him, what is this? And immediately the spirit of wisdom and understanding rested upon me, so that Revelation 6 and verse 8 was made manifest unto me. And I would just like you to take a walk with me or take a journey with me into different scriptures that points to what is going to happen in these last days. So I'll read Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8, and then I will go on to read another portion of scripture that comes from the Apocrypha. And sometimes I wonder, why have they removed these scriptures, the Apocrypha? And the more and more I read them, I have realized and I have come to the understanding that they have been removed so that Yahuwah's people would be left in the dark, so that they will be lacking knowledge, so that they would not understand the times that we are living in, and so that they would not be the wiser when these things come upon the earth. So therefore, I will read from the book of 2nd Ezra for you, chapter 15, and also Revelation 6 and verse 8. So we go to Revelation 6 and verse 8, and it says, and I looked and saw a pale horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and the grave followed with him, and authority was given to him over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and by the beasts of the earth. Brothers and sisters, this is a very serious passage of scripture. And now you can see clearly what the Most High was trying to say to me, so that I can bring it to you. Now, when we look at this scripture, we see that death and the grave will follow this ride this horse. And he was commanded to kill a fourth of the earth. That is 1/4 of the population of earth. And if the population of earth is now at approximately 8 billion people, think of that. Divide that by 4, you would get 2 billion people that will vanish, that will go from off the face of the earth by certain things that will come upon the earth. And this is no joke. The question to be asked is, where will you stand when death begins to parade the earth? When this pale horse begins his sojourn throughout the earth, galloping from north to south, from east to west, across the seas, the oceans, and in the mountains, the valleys, and the plains. When he began to do what he is commanded to do, where will you stand? And brothers and sisters, I'm asking you to please, at this point in time, there is no room for us to be behaving as if there is no Elohim, as if he does not exist, as if there is no creator, as if he did not leave commandments with us to do his will and to live by his Torah, his commands. It is high time that we wake up out of our slumber and begin to examine ourselves and do the will of the Most High. Do that which pleases him and put away all wickedness and our iniquitous ways. Brothers and sisters, this passage of scripture also says that this pale horse will kill by the sword and with hunger and death by beasts. So we see that hunger is going to come upon the earth, and we see that the animals are going to be taking their share, taking the lives of men and women. We have seen on different occasions where persons have been killed by animals lately. And you just have to put that on a larger scale, because remember I told you earlier that 2 billion people, the pale horse is going to kill off 1/4, a quarter of the population of the earth. Death is going to do that. And I remember I would have posted a video recently where I said that the Most High had warned me that death and hunger famine and hunger will soon come upon the earth. And here we have it plain again in Revelation 6 verse 8, where the pale horse is going to be killing with hunger. And where there is famine, there will be hunger, there will be deaths. That is the result. And what is the result of all of this? Sin. Sin is the result. And that is why we ought to put away our sinful ways and begin to live the life that Yahuah commanded us, that he expects of us. And you know something, brothers and sisters? Let me read to you from 2 Ezra 15, and you will see confirmation. As a matter of fact, I will say that John confirmed what Ezra said, because Ezra's prophecies came before John's prophecies. So both of them have confirmed one another. And the scriptures also say that in the presence of 2 witnesses, a matter can be established. So there is your proof. And there is another book that points towards the confirmation of these. I wouldn't go through that with you. But brothers and sisters, when the Most High reveals more to me, I will bring to you that scripture. And that confirms these two. So let me go ahead and read for you 2 Ezra chapter 15. And this is what he says. See, speak in the ears of my people the words of Nebuah, which is prophet, which I shall put in your mouth, says Yahuah. So Yahuah is now saying to Ezra, speak, my prophet, these words that I'm going to say to you. Okay? And brothers and sisters, I want you to listen very carefully. Very carefully. This passage of scripture is very long, but it is very telling. And you will see exactly what is going to happen as we near the end of days. And it says, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are trustworthy and true. The words of the Most High are true. So this is Yahuah speaking to Ezra's, telling him what is about to happen. And he says, do not fear the schemes against you. Do not let the unbelief of those who speak against you trouble you. And this is a word of encouragement to the prophets, the messengers of the Most High, also, that you should not fear what people say against you. Because I have been called crazy and persons will laugh at me, but I know what the Most High has told me when He commanded me, when He asked me to do His work. So I am not afraid of the gospel of Yahusha, of the gospel of Yahuah. He says, for all the unbelieving shall die in their unbelief. Look, says Yahuah, I shall bring plagues upon the world, the sword, scarcity of food, death and destruction. And what did Revelation 6 and verse 8 say? For wickedness has polluted the whole earth exceedingly, and their evil works complete. Therefore, says Yahuah, I shall hold my tongue no more in regard to their wickedness, which they do evilly. Neither shall I tolerate them in that which they wickedly engage themselves. See, the blood of the innocent and the righteous cries out to me, and the beings of the righteous protest continually. And therefore, says Yahuah, I shall surely avenge them and receive all the innocent blood from among me. Innocent blood, it's not only innocent blood now, but take a trip back to me, to the days of slavery. Many innocent died. Many of Yahuwah's people died. Many died. Many babies were ripped from their mothers' wombs. Many babies were killed. Husbands were killed. Wives were killed. Families were torn apart. And they were innocent. So Yahuah is now saying that he has had enough. And this is what he's going to do. He's going to avenge his people. See, my people are led as a flock to the slaughter. I shall not allow them to dwell in the land of Mitzrayim. Now, Mitzrayim is the other name for Egypt. Mitzrayim is a Hebrew word for Egypt. And he's speaking about Egypt. And in Egypt, we know the evils that pervaded at the time when the children of Israel were there. But figuratively speaking, we are all now in the land of Egypt, because it was foretold, it was prophesied by Moshe in Deuteronomy 28. And I strongly, strongly suggest, and I beg you, my people, my brothers and sisters, my friends, to take a look at Deuteronomy 28 and your eyes will be opened. And then he goes on to say, but I shall bring them with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and smite Mitzrayim with plagues as before, and shall destroy all its land. So he is saying here that the Egypt experience will replay itself again. And he is going to bring his people out with an outstretched arm. Mitzrayim shall mourn, and its foundation shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Elohim brings upon it. Those who till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blight and hail and from a frightening storm. Woe to the world and those who dwell in it! For the sword and their destruction draws near, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. Wars, he's speaking of here. For there shall be uproar among men, and they shall invade one another with no regard for their sovereigns nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their strength. Basically, a lot of rioting and fighting and protestations and stuff like that. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Man shall have no compassion for his neighbor with the sword and plunder their goods because of the lack of bread and of great distress. So a lot of turmoil is going to come upon the earth. And we know that in Matthew 24, it speaks of the love of many will wax cold and iniquity shall abound. And here is Ezra again confirming, or shall I say, Matthew 24 is confirming what Ezra prophesied. See, Elohim says, I shall call together all the sovereigns of the earth to revere me, who are from the rising of the sun, from the south and from the east and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay what they have done to them. As they still do today to my chosen, so shall I also do and repay into their bosom. Thus says Yahuah Elohim. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over those who shed innocent blood on the earth. The fire of his wrath has gone forth and consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like straw that is kindled. Woe to those who sin and do not guard my commands, says Yahuah. I shall not spare them. Go your way. You unbelieving children, do not defile my sanctuary, my mikdash. For Yahuah knows all those who sin against him. Therefore, he gives them over to death and destruction. For now the plagues have come upon the whole earth, and you shall remain in them, for Elohim shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him. Look, a horrible vision and its appearance from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all those who hear them fear and tremble. Yahuah is speaking about the Asian nations, European Asian nations. And when he speaks of chariots, now we don't have chariots now. So chariots will be forms of military transport that is going to come across. Also the Persians raging in war shall go forth at the wild boars of the forest, and they shall come in great strength and engage in battle with them, and shall destroy a portion of the land of Asher. And then the dragons, remembering their nature, shall have the upper hand, and if they ally together, turning themselves in great strength to pursue them, then these shall be troubled and silenced by their strength, and shall flee. And the enemy shall besiege them from the land of Asher, and consume them, and consume some of them, and within their army shall be fear and dread. and strife among their sovereigns. And he goes on to say, look, clouds from the east and from the north to the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall clash against one another, and they shall bring down a great number of storms upon the earth, even their own storm, and from the sword there shall be blood in the wastes, and dung of mans to the camel's hock. So Yahuah is saying now he's going to bring great storms upon the earth. And there shall be great fear and trembling on the earth, and those who shall see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. Yes? And then great storms shall come from the south, and from the north, and another part from the west. And strong winds shall rise from the east, and shall prevail. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the storm stirred up, causing fear towards the east, and west wind shall be destroyed. The great and mighty cloud shall billow forth full of wrath, and the storm with which they make all the earth afraid, and those who dwell in it. And they shall pour out a horrible storm over every high and lofty place, fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, so that all fields and all rivers shall overflow with exceedingly great amount of waters. And we are seeing a lot of flooding and storms and hail and all of these things happening now. So think of those things on a grander scale, brothers and sisters. And they shall move steadily unto Babel, which is Babylon, and cause her fear. They shall come to her and besiege her, pouring out the storm and all wrath upon her. Then dust and smoke shall go up to the Shamayim, which is to the sky, to the heaven, and all those who are around shall bewail her. So all those who are around is going to bewail Babylon. Is that familiar? Still in Revelation, it says, Babylon the Great is fallen, and all her merchants and etc. began to bewail her because their merchandise could not be sold because so many calamities have come upon Babylon. And those who remain under her shall do service to those who have put her in fear. And you, Asia, who shares the expectancy of Babylon and are the esteem of her person, woe to you, you wretch, because you have made yourself like her and have adorned her daughters with whoring, that they might please and boast in your lovers, who have always desired to commit whoring with you. So he's speaking now to the countries that are in the east that are doing just the same things. They are not going to be spared either. They are going to be consumed as well. They are going to suffer the wrath of Yahuah. You have followed she who is hated in all her works and devices. Therefore, says Elohim, I shall send plagues upon you, widowhood, poverty, scarcity of food, sword and pestilence, to waste your dwellings with destruction and death. And the esteem of your strength shall be dried up as a flower. The burning that is sent upon you shall rise. So the same punishment that Babylon, be it Babylon, US, UK, Europe, those countries, their punishment is going to be meted out to those countries in the East, those European and Asian countries. You shall be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and like one flogged with wounds. So shall so you shall not be received by your mighty lovers. Would I have proceeded against you so fervently, says Yahuwah, if you had not always slain my chosen, exalting and clapping your hands and speaking over their dead when you were drunk? There were days when this happened. Brothers and sisters, this happened in the days of slavery. And this points to the fact of who Yahuwah's people are, who his chosen seed is. And I need not say that to you because it is very clear who are enslaved, who face the wrath of slavery. Present your lovely face. That's in verse 54 now. Present your lovely face. The reward of your whoring shall be in your bosom. Therefore, you shall be repaid. As you have done to my chosen, says Yahuwah, even so shall Elohim do to you, and shall hand you over to evil. Your children shall die of hunger, and you shall fall by the sword. Your city shall be broken down, and all those in the field shall perish by the sword. Those who are in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, from hunger of bread and thirst of water. Grieving, you shall pass through the sea and receive plagues again. Now, I remember in 2022, I believe it is in November, that Yahuwah had given me a vision where I saw that people began to eat human flesh. I saw where a big crate of human flesh was dropped right in front of me as if it was in a marketplace. The name of that specific person was revealed to me. But this is indicative of what is going to happen. Persons are going to become cannibals and they're going to be eating human flesh. And here Ezra is saying what Yahuwah told him, that persons are going to be eating persons. Grieving, you shall pass through the sea and receive plagues again. And as they pass, they shall rush on the treacherous city and shall destroy some portion of your land and consume part of your esteem, and shall return to Babylon, which was destroyed. And you shall be thrown down by them as stubble, and they shall be as fire to you, and shall consume you and your cities, your land and your mountains, and all your woods, and they shall burn up your fruitful trees with fire. They shall carry your children away captive and see what you have. They shall plunder it and destroy the loveliness of your face. Brothers and sisters, this is second Ezra's chapter 15. Ezra's is a lovely book. It tells you of things that are to come, and it explains, it fleshes out so much of what is hidden away, what was hidden away from us in terms of what is going to happen in the end. I am urging you, brothers and sisters, to please, if you have not surrendered your heart to Yahushua HaMashiach, which is Jesus Christ, as you say in English, if you have not done so, please do so. Please give your life to Yahuwah. Please surrender all. Please put away your iniquitous ways. As we say in the Caribbean, now not time for play baby house. Now is not the time to play Barbie house or doll house. Now is not the time. It's a time for you to become serious about your salvation. So when the time comes, you will be worthy to escape the wrath that is to come upon the earth. I thank you, brothers and sisters, for watching my videos. Yahuah bless you abundantly.